Hi, I'm Phyllis from the Doll Corner, and I'm going to show you what I'm working on today. I've got a pile of scraps, and that's only a little bit of them. So I have made what I call scrappy, crazy quilts. So what I do is I get some scraps. I may have been making a quilt block. It didn't turn out just quite right. So I'll take and maybe cut it in half, and I'll start out with maybe two little squares, sew them together, add another piece on here and one here. I use the serger for these. Gives it a little thicker seam maybe, but it trims it as you go. Sometimes I just sew it with the machine. And you can use pretty much any kind of thread. You can empty out your bobbins if you've got a bunch of bobbins with thread you're not using. And then I just add more pieces to this side. Maybe one along here like this. This one didn't come quite to the end, so I'll stitch this one on and trim my seams as I go. And here's another piece that I've been sew that on. Maybe this across like this. And just keep adding. And then these are hexagons I'm trying to make up today. So when I get that big enough that I can make a hexagon, I will take and I will place my hexagon pattern on, or if you have a ruler for this would work really well, because then you can kind of check out what's underneath and how it's going to work. You want to make sure you don't put it right on a seam. You want to leave a little bit, because you know you're going to have to make another seam. So anything more than half an inch works well. Bring it over here to just right along there. That should work well. So then I cut it out, and this piece I will trim it off here right down and use it on another, so I don't waste much. This I would trim off, and I might start the next block with this in the center. See, and this, of course, I would save this. And then when I get a bunch cut out, one thing for certain, there is never going to be a block the same. They're all going to be different. Now I might move these around. I would maybe want 3 of those things fairly close. It wouldn't matter, depending on what fabric you have. And then I don't want to be doing Y seams on something like this, so I cut a triangle and put it on each corner. And that gives me a nice square. So then I can just, now you can, I'll show you how you can put them together. You can sew a sash. These blocks are 6 inches square, so you can run a sash in here and in here and then run a sashing along this. And if you want cornerstones in them, just line them up like this, and that gives you the secondary hexagon, and it is here, and you have your hexagon here, which I think is kind of nice. I'm not really fond with this color. I don't know whether I'll continue using that, or I could make it all different colors, but it wouldn't show up as much if it was different colors, because it would sort of take away from your hexagon block. And you can cut any shape from that, and I have made 5-inch square 4 patches with it. This is a 7-inch square. I don't think you can see this now. This did the full. This is, I think, 7 inches. I did embroidery work on each one. It makes it look more like the old way they used to make scrap quilts. You can use different designs, but I found there was a lot I didn't really like. I like this one, and I like this one kind of, but this one didn't seem to want to work right on it, because it wasn't taking the seam, because you're sewing over a seam, where this one didn't seem to mind. Now you can make, I've got this, you can put sashing between this with a cornerstone. Or you can make a 4 patch by putting a plain. There's so many ways. You could cut a butterfly pattern out of this if you wanted to applique it on or something, or a teddy bear. You can make it any shape you want it. So get your scraps out and get sewing. It's a fun way of just sewing, and you don't have to really concentrate. You have to trim your seams as you go, and if you serge them, you don't have to trim them. Like, where was that piece I had in the beginning? Anyway, oh, here it is. See, I serged that and pressed it, and that's quite neat. It makes a wee bit thicker seam, but not that much. It's pressed down nice and flat, and then you don't have to trim, because sometimes you have quite a little bit to trim off, depending how straight you're making your seams. So subscribe to my channel, touch the bell so you get a notice when I'm coming back again with some crazy ideas. And follow me on Instagram. If you have any questions, be sure and email me at dollfashion77@gmail.com. And thanks for watching. Bye now.